Peace to the saints. We are back. We have a legend within the Hebrew. You must be a legend because every time I debate anybody, they're like, yo, you need to go get Tazaryach. No, you ain't debating nobody. Go get Tazaryach. So I went and got y'all Big Hobie. You heard me? I got y'all Big Hobie in the building. We going in, man.
Okay, I was wondering what prompted it because I was because we been corresponding, and then when you hit me up, so shout out to my Israelite brothers, that look at me that way. It's a great honor. I thank the Most High for it. So I appreciate you reaching out. How's everything, man?
Life is very good, highly productive. I feel like I'm in a state of flow. How are things for you?
Oh, same way. I've been doing a lot of work lately, which is probably makes me the most happy. When I say work for me, like teaching and stuff like that, traveling, counseling. So it's been pretty straight. It's been pretty solid.
There you go. Okay. All right. You gonna come out with a new album?
What's the album gonna be called?
I don't know, man. You Slim Thug.
Yeah, how many times. Listen, and that got to be a real thing. Two people I'm always told I look like. It's either Michael Strahan or Slim Thug. Those two people, Michael Strahan, the football player, with a former Giants fan. Yeah, I used to be in like Long Island, New York, and like white people would come up. Michael Strahan? I say no.
Oh,
and
no.
Initially, I used to be like, are they trying to say all black people look alike? But a lot of people would say Michael Strahan, and then of course the Slim Thug reference that always pops up. Always.
Yeah, I'm messing with you. Okay, so I want to engage a conversation about, as I mentioned in the DM, what is the relevance to you that the Black peoples of America believe that they are the Hebrew Israelites, and how does that benefit them materially?
The most important part, I think, is what Black people, I think, suffer from is a moral compass that could actually benefit them, that can govern them. When I say benefit them, I'm not talking about what they have, just what they have access to, but what it restricts them from. So when it comes to the lost, so the first thing is identity. So when we identify as Israelites, that puts us in the Israelite world as far as, okay, if we're Israelites, what God do they have? What laws do they serve? What rules, what code of conduct? How do they conduct themselves? For us as Israelites, once we determine that gives us something to go with. Most Black people would say, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm an atheist, but that's extremely subjective because you can stop being a Christian at any point. Christianity is not an identity. Muslim is not an identity. Atheist, none of those are identities. So being an Israelite for us is about, that's your identity more than anything else.
And I want to give the audience a heads up. I'll be cutting in at various points to speed up the conversation. We do have time constraints. So just a heads up to everyone that, I'll be chopping in periodically. So what is the relevance of saying that it's a religion that's guided by a book if you're suggesting that it's in your blood? If it's in your blood, then why do you even need the book? Shouldn't it just be written in your DNA?
Yeah, that sounds like the Matrix, man. We don't live in a Matrix where you just get zapped with information. If that was the case, we would have never lost our identity as being an Israelite. So like any culture, any nation that has a culture, Chinese people that have a culture, they have an oral and written tradition of it. Every nation has an oral and written tradition. When we were brought over here as slaves, the oral lasted for some time. Like you can find, we have some people that their family line never forgot that they were Israelites. But then for the most part, that oral history was wiped away. They take away your ability to read or write. Now the written part is wiped away. And so it's not so much that you need it written down. Like even the Bible says the law will be written in our hearts. So I don't necessarily need the law I don't have to read it every day to follow it. But I had to get to that point. So that's the importance of understanding who you are, because Black people, for the most part in America, when it comes to their identity, they don't have none. They don't have no culture. So you have to read, just like anything. You have to learn.
Is that true? You folks on the internet say the most ludicrous things. You said Black people in America don't have any culture. Is that true?
Yeah, we have culture in the sense of when you start talking about Black people with culture, you're gonna have to look at the roots of it all. So they're gonna talk about their music, which we have a musical culture. We have this culture. When Israelites are talking about culture, we talk about the God we serve, the laws we serve. The God that most black people serve is a false God or a fake one, like most people.
You actually went away from what I asked you. That's a red herring. So I challenged your point about, you said black people don't have culture. So
Right.
you're conceding, yes, black people do have culture. You were exaggerating.
No, I'm not. I'm
okay,
saying,
so you're sticking with the idea that black people in America do not have culture.
No, I'm sticking with that because culture that black people have, music is, if you want to, okay, here's what, maybe this will help for those in your world understand. If you think music is a culture, by all means, black people have it. If you think the soul food that comes from surviving slavery and what we had to eat is a culture, then yes, we have it. For us, because our culture is our actual identity and that was taken away from us, that's why we say, so we could be talking past each other.
We're not talking past each other. If you're not a linguist or a cultural anthropologist, you don't get to redefine words in general and in particular those that relate to culture. So an attempt to suggest that black people in America don't have culture because they don't abide by your made up religion is fairly ludicrous and insulting, when in actual fact, the concept of culture has been defined quite clearly. It consists of some of the following things. This is not exhaustive: folkways, mores, religion, language, dialect, clothing, ways of being, food, holidays, and many other things. So you don't get to redefine it because it's out of line with the fake religion that you created.
What are the black holidays?
Kwanzaa. I don't celebrate it, but here's my point. With regards to, no, I don't celebrate it because I have a different culture. No, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, and don't fake laugh either. Don't fake laugh because I've seen it a million times, and don't interrupt. So here's my point. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. We already pointed out that culture had a definition before you and I started this conversation, so you don't get to create a new definition. Furthermore, I said it's a non-exhaustive list that consists of some of those things. And then you asked for an example. I gave you a very clear example. Furthermore, in my case, we practice Sasson culture. Culture is something that can be developed over time or it can be developed in a moment. For example, the fake religion that you follow, much of what it is was developed by Europeans meeting together and creating the religion. I yield the floor.
Thank you. I don't know if you muted me or not.
No, sir, I would never do that to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I did not mute you. If anyone in the chat was unable to hear the gentleman, please put a 2.
No, that's cool. Long as if you said you didn't do it, that's cool.
Yeah.
By you reading your definition of culture, you prove we don't. That's why I asked you holidays. You said Kwanzaa. Most black people celebrate Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Memorial Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all European religions. The Israelites do not celebrate or consort with anything European. So the fact that you say Kwanzaa makes you look foolish. It doesn't make me look foolish. That was a brother that started that.
No, impossible.
It definitely is possible because Kwanzaa was created by a brother in Chicago in the 70s. So then you're saying that black people didn't have no culture of holidays until the 70s. Even Black History Month is
You're using language at this point is very disingenuous. So the fact of the matter is that culture does not hang on the singular point of having a holiday or not having a holiday. Furthermore,
go ahead. Now you interrupted me now, though.
I already warned everyone that I would be cutting into the conversation at various points. So again, you're being dishonest there, but I will yield the floor to you.
I'm not being dishonest. I just like to have fun too. I'm good at this. That's why the Israelites said you ain't talk to Cap. So now when you look up concept of culture,
I'm the best at this. The only reason that they think that you're doing anything is because they're 2 standard deviations below the mean in IQ, which is typical of religious people.
The fact that you think black people have a culture, then by the definition, shared beliefs, values, practices, material items define a group, learn through socialization, express symbols, language, norms, rituals. Now you show me where black people collectively have those things that define a culture, and then I'll show you where the Israelites, which is not a made-up religion, is not even a religion. In a religion, anybody can be that religion. For Israelites, you have to be an Israelite to be an Israelite. So you can't call us a religion. So a white person can't be an Israelite, but a white person, African, Chinese, and Arab can all be Christian or Muslim or anything else. but you cannot be that. Why? Because our culture prohibits that. That's the difference between us and whatever it is. You said you follow sassy.
You're not speaking of a culture. One moment. You're confusing terms. The problem is that you're doing a very poor job with diction, and as a result, you're mixing in the concept of ethnicity, culture, and race. You're suggesting that race is a biological reality. You see, and another group cannot take on a biological reality, but you're meshing that up with ethnicity and religion. That's the problem here. So you need to pull those things apart. So first off, let me show you how messy what you're talking about is. Would you be so kind as to define the racial features that clarify who is a Hebrew? I'm gonna see if I can get a pen too. I got a pen here.
You don't even need a pen because you sound more European the more you talk. You see how you just said
no, don't run. I'm gonna get a pen. Don't run. Go ahead.
Say that. I said you don't need a pen. I said you sound.
No, I'm gonna take this and write this down. What are the racial features that define the Hebrew Israelite?
Write this down. Marquett is extremely European and Eurocentric.
Don't run. What are the features that define a Hebrew Israelite? You don't know who you are?
Why?
I thought you know who you are.
But why are you interrupting? Who's running from the question? I want you to answer it. I just want you to write these things down.
Go ahead.
Marquett is Eurocentric in his thought process because according to the Bible, it does not say if you have a big nose, a big head, hair, that makes you an Israelite. It doesn't say that. In the Bible, it says if you are the seed of the Israelites, you're an Israelite. Only Eurocentric Europeans and those that follow him think that you're who you are by the size of your head, the size of your feet, your skin tone, your complexion. Those are all Eurocentric ideas. Those are not Israelite ideas. That's not. Can you show my? So I've answered your question. Now
okay. No, you've not answered the question. So if you don't mind, I'd like to make sure that we can pin it down. No, 1 second. I'd like to make sure we can pin it down. So I asked you, because you've defined it as a racial group. So what I'm asking you is to define the things that are observable in that racial group, because you've stated that you are unlike other groups. So being that you're unlike other groups, tell me how I might recognize you. And I'll give you an example since you seem to be misunderstanding. If I were to say that someone is Samoan, I might be able to give you some metrics that define them as such. If I say that someone belongs to the Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid category, I can give you some specifics. So I'm asking you, you're a Hebrew Israelite. What are the racial features of the Hebrew so that we can identify some similarities which constitute a group belonging? I'll yield the floor. I'm gonna write down what are the similarities that consist of your group.
My favorite phrases is listening is an art. You use the word race. I use more so the word ethnicity. So ethnically speaking, you are the seed of your father. So example, we would see you, the world would see Bob Marley as a black man. We would see Bob Marley as a white man because of who his father is. So now when we have talking points, when we have general talking points, what you're saying, we'll say, well, black people look like this generally. Black people have kinky hair generally. But Africans also have kinky hair, and we're not African either. So we don't go by Darwinism. We don't go by Eurocentric thoughts and ideologies and their beliefs. We go by the seed of your father. And so you identify Israelites by the laws they keep. You might see them with fringes. You might see women dressed a certain way. You might see the feast days we keep.
So now you're talking about behaviors. So you keep running, you'll define something and then I'll assert that that's the wrong definition and then you'll run on to something else.
So for example, Marquett, is your father a
No, we don't have to run to that. What are the racial features of the Hebrew Israelites so that I can write it down?
You can't read where that's an identifier for Israelites in the Bible. So we don't go by racial features. That's why I use Bob Marley as an example. Bob Marley has a black mother.
I want to make sure real quick. I just want to make sure we're understanding. So you're saying you do not go by racial features, which is to say biological markers. Is that correct?
No, you're saying biological
No,
markers.
I'm asking you. I'm
I'm going to explain. What I'm saying about racial features, When people see Bob Marley, they call him black. Whenever we say Bob Marley is a white man, they say you're full of crap, because when I look at Bob Marley, what does he have? Black features or black skin tone. But
I heard that the first time. You don't have to repeat it. I'm asking you, what are the racial features of the Hebrew Israelites? If you're saying there are none, just say that and I'll write it down. But it seems as though you're tap dancing. Are there racial features or are there no racial features of the Hebrew Israelites? And when we say race, we're talking about that which is biological. I yield the floor. Which is it?
Before I answer again, can you
just answer? You don't have to preface it.
No, I do want to preface it. When you say racial features, can you tell me what you're saying the racial features
Don't
are?
answer a question with a question. The problem is that you are in a lack of knowledge, and now having been exposed, you're now questioning me. You see, instead of saying, I don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know. I asked you what you are, what your group is, and you don't know. Just say you don't know.
So here's why I answer the way I answer.
No, you didn't answer. You asked a question. You didn't answer. You asked a question. That makes it a response, not an answer. Again, I'm a master of language. So please be accurate.
Though, because I asked you a question the third time, you didn't understand the answer. So I have to dumb it down for you. That's the difference.
What are the chances that you have to dumb something down? Now, what are the racial features of the Hebrew Israelites? It's fundamental.
There is no set racial features for Israelites. There is no identifier where if they got this nose, they're an Israelite. They got this complexion, they're an Israelite. If they got this color eyes, they're an Israelite. That's Eurocentric teaching that you're doing.
How's that Eurocentric? How's that Eurocentric?
Feminists would say if their brain is this size, they're like this.
Wait, how's that Eurocentric?
Okay, tell me the black people that came up with this concept.
Stop asking me questions. I'm asking you, how is that Eurocentric?
Don't do that. That's what a debate is. A debate is
yes, but it's your term. So you have to define your term. It's not my term, your term. So I'm asking you, how is it Eurocentric?
Because the concept of identifying people by racial markers was started by Europeans. So my counter is to show me the black people that created this. If you look this way, it's because you come from this or because you come from that. That's my counter question. Go ahead.
You have a counter question to me asking you to define a term that you used.
Don't be confused. I answered the question. Now answer
Do you understand my point? You have a counter question to you defining a term that you used.
But why you can't answer? You're the one running.
No,
now.
I'm pointing out to you what you're doing. It's ludicrous. You used a term, and then I said define it. And now you're giving a counter question. Defining a term is not an argument. That's number one. Defining a term is not an argument. It's just making sure that we're sharing a lexicon to have the conversation. That's number one. Now, number two, let me explain something. Number two, there's certain things that you cannot say that the Europeans discovered it or the Europeans created it or the Arabs created it. No, there's some things that are immutable truths. So, for example, if you were to look at the Fulani versus, say, the Zulu or the Xhosa, you can see racial differences, even if you look at the Bushmen. And these are subcategories of race, meaning that they have common features. Don't interrupt now. You asked me a question. Don't interrupt now.
You don't
have to interrupt. You asked me a question. So the point I'm making is that that's not a Eurocentric view. That's an obvious biological reality, that there are different features based on peoples originating in different lands. So it's actually quite ludicrous to claim it's Eurocentric. Now, here's the even funnier thing for someone like you. You would claim that it's Eurocentric, but everything based on your religion, which is a fake false religion, as all the other ones are as well, all of that comes from Europe. In fact, the language that you read it in is a European language.
Is that a question?
So everything that you're going to share is fundamentally Eurocentric. So I find it ironic that you're challenging me with the very thing that you're victim of.
No, I'm not. Because
you used the King James Version Bible. King James was a European king.
King James.
You read the book in English, which is a European language.
King James was a white man, though. King James was not a white.
I said King James was a European king,
but he was not a white man. He was a man.
I did not say that. Stay focused. I said King James was a European king.
But
Is that correct or incorrect?
He also was a Jacobite. His
Okay.
throne was built.
Now here's another piece. Here's another
King
piece. One moment. Here's another piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're kind of fading out a little bit. Is internet working for you?
You have froze, actually.
Uh-oh. In the chat, if either of us go out in the chat, would you guys let us know who it is, just so that we can figure out how to work through the any of the technical issues? Now, here's my challenge with a lot of you folks who are claiming to be religious. I don't even think you guys believe in this nonsense, to be honest with you. But here's my challenge to you. Are you fluent in Aramaic?
No, I'm not fluent in Aramaic. Hebrew.
Are you fluent in Greek?
No.
Are you fluent in Hebrew?
No.
Okay. How much can you believe in this religion if you've not even taken out the time to make a study of these languages? Because the King James Version, which is what you guys rely on, is merely a translation of the manuscripts that come from these languages. So it's like, if you believe this thing is life or death and it's of God, you've not even taken out the time to actually try to study to get a better understanding?
Well, that's the different question. The latter part of that is a different question. So on the Eurocentric part, I just want to reiterate again, King James was a brother, so he wasn't a white European. So when we say
you said that 4 times, but I never objected to that. I said he's a European king, and then you ignored that.
I don't know why you're so touchy when I just correct your mistakes. So now,
what was the mistake?
When you thought King James was white,
I never said he was white. I said he was a European king, which is a fact. So you're lying. You have to be honest.
And then
you got to be honest.
I didn't say he was white. I said he was a European,
and that's a fact.
But everybody
knows he's a European king.
European, understanding that he was white. So now,
no, you have to stop lying. You have to stop lying. He was king of what country?
When it comes to the Hebrew,
he was king of what country?
He was a king of 2 kings. He was a king of Scotland and a king of England.
Okay, great, fantastic. Are those European countries?
Yes, but is he a white?
So he was a European king. Don't play word games because it makes you look disingenuous. You're playing word games.
You're
audience, word games here. No one respects that.
We know the semantic wiggle.
Was King James a Hebrew?
Yes.
Okay, King James is Hebrew. Okay, fantastic. Is he also a European king?
He called himself a Jacobite. So
he was also a European king?
He called us. I know you don't know that history, so I can.
I'm curious. Is he also a European king?
He would be considered a European king because
fantastic. So now you just clarified that I was speaking accurately. Now let's get to the real point. The question that I asked you is, if you're so deep in your religion, why is it that you've not taken out the time to study Greek, which is a European language, mind you, to study Aramaic, or to study Hebrew? If you actually believe this nonsense, why haven't you studied it?
Yeah, when I say European and he tried to follow after me, everybody knows. When it comes to the languages, I said I'm not an expert in it. That does not mean that I've never looked into it or studied it. So I have studied it, but I don't call myself an expert because I'm intelligent enough to know once I say I'm an expert or something like that, I either got to speak it, know it like that. So when it comes to the translation of the Bible and we read the King James, there's nothing wrong with looking it up in Hebrew to make sure it correlates, to look it up in Greek to make sure it correlates, or to look it up in Aramaic and just make sure it correlates. It does not stop me from properly understanding. So I don't just read the English and never go into the other languages. I do, but I'm not an expert in those languages. That's not my expertise. Now, on a Friday,
real quick, to be honest though, there's a big gap between being an expert and being proficient. There's an enormous gap. And I would even challenge, and we can actually test this out because I'm about to be with a couple contacts that are fluent.
You didn't ask me if I was proficient though. You changed. You didn't ask me if I was proficient in the language.
If you're going to, let me tell you why it's really important when you're going to be a preacher of the word, as I trust you call it. The reason it's so important is because if you're considering biblical Hebrew, biblical Aramaic, and Greek, right? You're dealing in Hebrew, which has a limited tense system. It has poetic parallelism. It has idioms, all things that cannot be translated into English. So you have an extraordinary amount of translation that's occurring, which is utterly bizarre. The idea that you have human beings translating the word of the divine. We have fake news today. So the idea that a book that's thousands of years old is at all accurate is just extraordinary. We can't even agree on what's happening today. So you'd have to be a very unrealistic, immature person who believes in fantasy or is using the religion to make himself feel greater and to milk the followers. I yield the floor.
That's a horrible analogy. In the Bible,
I didn't give an analogy. I did not give an analogy. What was the analogy?
The analogy was at the end part when you said you must be using it to feel greater about yourself.
Yes, so that's not an analogy.
No problem. So when you said about the language in the Bible, it says, with stammering lips and with another tongue will I speak to these people. The children of Israel being scattered, even the Hebrew that you talk about, when we talk about the original Hebrew, it didn't have language, it didn't have vowels. Even the consonants were used as vowels. And then as we would either through interaction with other cultures, as we would go into different captivities, the language would begin to change, where vowels would be a part of the language. So when you go back and read it, because of the idioms and understandings, the most important part about understanding the Bible, period, in whatever language you read it in, is that the understanding does not come from your study. The understanding comes from the Most High. Anybody that has read and believed in the Bible, the Lord chooses to give understanding to whomever he wants. When Christ said,
I just want to repeat that, make sure we're understanding. So you're saying the Lord gives understanding to whomever he chooses.
That's correct. When Christ
said, how do I know if you don't understand and you're just saying you do? How do I know if the Lord actually gave it to you or if you're lying?
First, finish answering the first question. When Christ said, I'm glad he kept this from the wise and prudent and gave it unto babes. That's in the Bible. So the wise and
no, you think that's in the Bible. You're not fluent in Aramaic. You're not fluent in Greek. You're not fluent in Hebrew. You think that's in the Bible. That's my whole point, is that all of your fundamentals are shaky.
In the Greek and the English, that's what it says. That is a stupid thing to say.
Would you be kind enough to quote it to me in the Greek?
I don't read Greek, but I can be kind enough to.
I see.
This is the beauty of showing.
No, I'll tell you why it sounds so fraudulent. Because, like, for example, if you were talking to a Muslim and a Muslim said, God stated blah, 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 and you said to the Muslims, hey, would you be kind enough to quote it to me in the Arabic, which is the original language it came down to the people in? They would say, and they give it to you in the Arabic, the original that it came down in.
Still
so you can't quote it in the original.
It mean
so what makes you think you even know it?
It still doesn't mean that just because they quote it, that what they're quoting or teaching on it is true. All that means is they can speak the language. That is absolutely ignorant to say that just because you can speak it means you know it. That's why Christ.
Ignorant is lack of knowledge. Ignorant is what you are. You have no knowledge of the three languages that are fundamental to understanding the Bible. So you're failing to concede the fact that you're not qualified. You're not a theologian. You're just a person who is utilizing this to make yourself feel better about who you are. You're using the same classic pattern we've observed in history. This is what Adolf did to make the Germans feel good. He told them that they were supermen. You're doing the same thing.
I got to do that because if anybody wants to, if you're confused, they have great applications that you can find where you can go to Bible Hub and look at the Greek translation, Matthew 11:25. And then as it says, I fully consent to you, Father, O Lord in heaven and earth, that you did hide these things from the wise and learned.
You're reading in English.
Revealed them to babes. And then
you're reading in English.
On the other side,
you're reading in English.
And then on the other side, you have the Greek that it's translated from.
Okay, can you read the Greek?
No, I don't read Greek, which is my point.
Do you understand my point that you're relying on a human being's interpretation of a text that's thousands of years old? Do you understand that that sounds a little bit like that sounds unreliable? Can you concede that? Are you honest enough to concede that?
Here's where I'll give you a point. When it comes
to, are you honest enough to concede that you are relying on interpretations of a book that's thousands of years old and it's probably very unreliable? Can you concede that?
That's what I'm about to say. Just hear what I'm saying. I'm not.
But before you do that, I'm just saying, can you concede the fact that you're relying on interpretations and that's unreliable?
But just let me. That's why I said I'm not disagreeing with that. when it comes to any ancient text, whether it's in the original or a translation, you're relying on the preservation of said text. So when you say something like, how do you know that it was written back then? I wasn't back then. You're relying on the transmission, relatability. You're relying on that. And that's with anything in history that we did not witness ourselves. You're relying on whoever gave it to you. So if you want to say that's conceding, I don't have an issue with that. I'm believing in a book. I'm believing things written that I did not see. The Bible would call that, the Bible would actually call that faith, the evidence of things not seen. So I didn't see Christ. I didn't see Abraham. I didn't see Matthew. I didn't see them. But do I believe these texts that are written? Absolutely. Whether I read it in the original Greek or the English. But the argument that you're making about the English, you can make the same argument about the Greek because nobody was there. That's a stupid argument. Well, it's not a stupid argument.
No, in fact, it's no, 1 second. If we want to talk about stupid or arrogant or ignorant, those would be better to describe your position.
It's not my position.
Stupid, really. I'll give you a challenge. Can you name 5 books other than the Bible that validate your biblical interpretations that you've read since you're a scholar?
Medieval Europe validates it.
Chosen people. That's a book?
Yeah, Medieval Europe is the name of the book. It's like written from like 300 to like 800 AD. It talks about Christ.
The book is called Medieval Europe.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. I'll text it to you. Let me see if I can find it.
No, don't look it up. See, that's my whole point is that you guys don't know. You're a Hebrew that doesn't speak Hebrew. So my whole point is that all of this stuff is clearly fraudulent. You're a Hebrew that doesn't speak Hebrew. Go find a Chinaman that doesn't speak Mandarin.
I was going to show you the screenshot. That's
all. No, you need the screenshot, but really, if you're a Hebrew, it should be right here. Like if your primary thing is you're a theologian, it should be right here. The fact that you can't name 5 books that validate what you're saying that are outside of the Bible, it proves my point. Consistently, you guys say, I'm a scholar, but I've only read 1 book. Where else do you find a scholar who's only read 1 book?
I only started at 1. And where did I ever say I only read 1 book?
Well, that's you stopped because I asked you about the book and then you had to go check a reference because you don't know.
Have to check a reference. That's what you're lying about. Now you're lying.
No, who's the author of the book?
You're absolutely lying.
No, who's the author of the book?
I don't know the author off the top of my head.
You don't know the author off the top of your head. It's the first book you name and you don't even know the author. So that lets me know that you're not serious.
13 tribes, chosen people of the Caucasus, lost tribes in promised land.
No. Already, you already failed. You named the first book and you didn't know the author of it.
I named just 4 books. Now I named 4 books. You said I couldn't name
the first book. You don't know the author.
Just name 4.
1 second. You earlier used the word arrogant. You used the word stupid. You used the word ignorant. So would you agree that I asked you to name 4 books and the very first one you couldn't name the author?
But you didn't ask for name an author because I could name a book. Now you crying and asking for the author.
You're getting angry because your ignorance was exposed. There's no reason for me to be angry. I exposed you. You're the one that was found out to be ignorant.
I named 4 books though.
Okay, so you said the first book was called Medieval Europe, and who's the author?
Then I said chosen people of the Caucasus, 13 tribes.
No, I said who's the author of the first book?
I don't know the author of that book. I don't have to know the author of the book.
That's you should. You should. If you're here proselytizing, you should.
Why should I know the author of the book? Why?
I'll tell you why. Because if you position yourself as an expert, if you're talking about something that is so critical that you believe if you don't follow your way, you're going to burn in hell for all eternity, or that this is the gateway to heaven, something that's serious, you would think that you'd be a bit more informed.
That's Eurocentric. Europeans taught you're going to burn in hell.
You'd be a bit more informed.
You just showed how stupid you are. The Bible does not
imagine.
Teach you.
What are the chances that you're the smart one and I'm the dumb one? You are a Hebrew who doesn't speak Hebrew. You don't speak Aramaic. You don't understand biblical Hebrew. You don't speak Greek.
You answer?
So you're just a grifter.
You're going to burn in hell. Who taught you that? Who taught you that? Who taught you that?
Young man.
Who taught you? God is that God. Who taught you
Hold
that?
on one second. It doesn't matter. I don't believe in any of this. I say it's all nonsense.
Who taught
I
you
say
that?
it's all nonsense. None
Who
of it
taught-
matters.
Who
So
taught
you
you
have
that?
to ask yourself,
Why did you
why
say it?
is it that you only know one book?
You said it because
Tazaryach,
you was taught.
Tazaryach,
You
why do
believe
you know? I don't believe in any of it. I already told you. I think you're all fools.
say it.
I think you're all fools.
You
So
said it,
Tazaryach, why
and
is it? Hold on one
you said
second.
it
Why
like that.
is it you're trying to run from the fact that you're without knowledge? You're trying to run from the fact that you named the first book and you couldn't tell me the author.
Name 4 books.
You're trying to run from that.
I ran the 4 books right off the top of my head. It wasn't even that deep.
Okay,
But when
let me write it down. So the first one, you don't know the author. Now give me the other ones. Give me the other
what
ones.
you should do is better.
Oh, let me get the other ones. Let me write down the other ones. What are the other 4 books?
Make me at least
No,
know.
1 second. What are the other 4 books? I want to learn. What are the other 4 books?
You're teaching them that if they don't listen to this, they
Wait, what are the other 4 books? I want to learn.
heaven.
I want to learn. What are the other 4 books?
Listening is an art. You can
Wait,
go
calm
back.
down, calm down, calm down. I just want to know. I'm going to write it down. What are the other 4 books?
I'm not going to say the books again. I said them 3 times.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes.
What are the other 4 books?
Yes. All you got to do is
What
go
are
back and watch the replay because listening is an art.
No, because this is core to our conversation. Right now, you're exposing that you're either a person who was lying or without knowledge. Because we're having a conversation about your religion. And I simply asked you, I said, outside of your Bible, which you don't understand because you don't have the requisite knowledge to understand. Aside from that, what are 4 books that validate your understanding? So would you be kind enough to tell me what the books are?
White man taught you. I told you the books.
Okay, I'm going to tell me one more time.
No.
What are the books?
No.
Come on. You look really bad. You look really bad right now. It's okay to say I was lying. It's okay to say I don't know.
This is like a petty woman position.
No. I'm asking you because I want to learn. I want to check your sources because you're positioning yourself as a scholar and an expert. We just want to check your sources.
You spoke about hell, and I
just calm down. What are the books? Tazaryach. I'm telling the whole world right now. You only know 1 book, the King James Version Bible. You only know 1 book, and that's why you're scared to name other books.
I named the books already, but
I would like to check right now.
You and your feelings.
You did not name them, and I would just like to check. Just name them one more time.
You got cut.
Just name them one more time.
You feel? I told you no already. I said it already. I answered it 3 times.
Why are you so offended to tell me what the books are so we can explore them?
Chilling. I'm not offended by it. I just said I'm not doing it again.
We're in a discussion. Why won't you name the books?
Because if I answer your question 3 times.
You did not answer the question 3 times. So if you calm down, Tazaryach, you're embarrassed right now and you're being very dishonest.
You didn't listen.
Everyone watching knows that there's no reason you can't name the books right now. We just want to take a look into the books so we can validate your knowledge. That's it. The real reason you don't want to name the books is because you don't know the title of the books and you don't know the authors. You tried to say it out really fast while I was talking. Now I'm yielding the floor so that I can hear you. You're being stubborn and crying. You might as well just run away. You might as well just rage quit because you're refusing to participate in the discussion.
Those tactics.
So are you so angry that you're taking the childlike, stubborn position of I'm not going to say? Just admit that you don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying you don't know everything. I don't know everything.
Tactics don't work.
Tazaryach, I don't know everything.
That don't
you
work.
don't have to know everything.
Right,
so would you be kind enough to just tell me that validate your understanding of the Bible?
Sassy man. That's how you sound. You sound like a sassy man.
I understand. You're insulting me. That's fine. I'm just politely asking if you tell me the 4 books.
No, that's insult.
I'm politely asking, would you tell me the 4 books?
And I'm again telling you, listening is an art, and I answered it already 3 times.
That's fine. I'm just asking you politely if you tell me now.
You can rewind the tape.
If you tell me now, what are the 4 books?
You can get them yourself. You can rewind the tape.
We're in a discussion right now. I want to discuss the books.
The books. I named the 4 books.
Well, we can discuss them if you just be kind enough to tell me what the books are, and we can discuss them now. I'd like to discuss them.
If you actually have skill as a debater to have
no. It's not about debating right now. It's about you being stubborn. I'm just politely asking you, man to man, to tell me what the books are.
I'm not being stubborn. I'm just not naming the books.
You mean stubborn. You said stuttering. Now, I'm just politely asking you to just name what the books are. That's
And
all I'm
I'm
asking.
telling you, I'm not, because I did it 3 times. I can't help it if you can't keep up. You're too slow. You're not
Oh,
intellectual.
did I embarrass you? I
How?
embarrassed you?
How?
I didn't mean to embarrass you.
How did you do that though?
We're
Like,
trying to have a discussion
it,
about the books, and you're scared to say what the books are.
I
You
think
see,
I've
here's the thing.
interacted with
Here's
you
the
like
thing. You won't name the books because you're a pseudo intellectual. You're a fake scholar. And I knew you were a fake scholar because all of you guys are fake scholars. And that's why you can only ever reference the King James Version Bible. Just imagine claiming that you understand the book and you know it's an interpretation and you've not taken out the time to be diligent to become conversational and functional in the requisite languages.
I still don't get it.
It just shows that you only do it so that you have something to say, because without this King James Version book, you'd be nothing and nobody.
Like, is this how you
You'd be
debate?
nothing and nobody. I explain to you guys, every time we encounter a preacher, it's your effort to be somebody. Because without that, it's like, well, what have you accomplished? What have you done? Nothing.
Somebody.
And I'm talking to you as a man. And let me tell everybody watching how I know that you guys talk nonsense. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in a book. Does your book tell you to avoid gluttony?
It says to not be a glutton. Correct.
Not be a glutton. Okay. Your body. Do you think that your body reflects obeying, not being gluttonous?
Facts. Glutton has nothing to do with your body type.
It's not your body type.
It has nothing to do with your body. That's not what a glutton is.
Gluttony has nothing to do with your body. It has nothing to do with food consumption.
No, because you could be a glutton over more than just food. You could.
That's correct. But I think we can agree that gluttony is primarily understood to be something involving food consumption.
Gluttony is not just about food.
Gotcha. So you're tap dancing. That's fine. That's fine. Very good. And this is what women typically do. Now, here's the second piece. In your religion, does it permit drinking alcohol? In your religion, does it permit drinking alcohol?
Yes, you can have alcohol.
Yes, it does. Very good. And this is how we know it's fraudulent. 178,000 people die per year of alcohol in America. 178,000 people dead because of alcohol. Your book is fraudulent. It doesn't even protect people from the basics.
He had a point with the glutton part and didn't even know what glutton means.
Your book is fraudulent.
Don't know the Bible.
My point is that you are gluttonous. And you are a representation of the fact that you don't even believe and you don't even follow the religion. You're fake laughing. Everyone knows the fake laugh. I advised you 20 minutes ago not to do the fake laugh because it just makes you look silly. You're trying to look like you're relaxed, but you're fake laughing. Thank you for stopping the fake laugh when I called it out. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I didn't stop. I'm just me.
Now, moreover, the fact of the matter is that I asked you to name 4 books outside of the Bible.
And I named them.
Scared to name the books and the authors because you don't know the authors. You were just saying the titles of books, but you don't know the authors because you're not well studied. You are not lettered. And that's the problem with the internet. It allows people like you who are virtually nobodies and not lettered to come on and babble. Let me ask you this. Without the Hebrew Israel thing, without the Hebrew Israelite thing, what would you be teaching? If you weren't teaching the Bible, what would you be teaching?
I am a certified wireless network administrator. And before I was an Israelite, people asked me, like when I was growing up hustling and stuff like that, my grandfather was a pastor. My father was in the church and stuff like that. I just didn't resonate with the church because it just didn't feel right the older that I got. So as far as being spiritual, I always was the guy that people would come to, kind of like my father. My father. No,
that's fine. But I'm saying, what would you be teaching if you weren't on the Hebrew Israelite grift?
Well,
what significance would you have in this world if it wasn't for your religious claims?
My life was insignificant before I became an Israelite.
Correct. And this is the case with all of the preachers. That's why they go to religion. Because they want to be somebody.
I didn't even want to be nobody.
No, that's not true. That's not true. All of you religious guys, you associate with the Most High. The Most High. So that you can be exalted. So that people can look up to you. That's why you guys do it. And that's my whole point. We never meet anyone. One second. We never meet any of you guys who were somebody before the grift. Maybe you might have been a basketball player, then you fell off, and then you found another way to get significance. Human beings cry out for significance. And in your case, you're using God. And this has been something that's been very common. The Black community has been victim of this a lot.
Right. You do realize that your interrupting is not in the sense of what you said in the beginning. Your interrupting now is when you can get easily cut. You just interrupt and then just use that excuse. I said I was going to interrupt because I don't think that I'm significant. I don't walk around here trying to be this guy. I just walk around and teach and do class. Whatever comes with it naturally. This live stream, for example, I think I messaged you. We corresponded for about the past 6-7 months off and on. But this was impromptu. I didn't contact you impromptu. I contacted you to schedule something, but you contacted me to do this. So if anybody is giving me shine, you're assisting in that shine because you asked me on the fly.
It's irrelevant to the point. It's irrelevant to the point. The point is that your entire grift is because you are insignificant. That's my point. All of you guys are insignificant. You have no unique talents. You have no unique skills. You're not accomplished. So this is the only thing you can do to become relevant. That's my point. You don't believe in your religion. That's why the gluttony part, you don't follow it. You have a religion that is false, fictional.
Clearly, you think I'm somebody. I think the sound went out. I think your sound went out. You good? No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. No, I cannot hear you.
I'm aware. Yeah, my sound.
That's right. So clearly, you think I'm somebody because you contacted me about an hour ago and said
that's irrelevant to the point yet again.
Irrelevant. Let me tell you about me.
I already told you in our first debate. I like you.
I don't have no trump with that. But
yeah, you like me. I told you that in our first debate.
You like me, not because I tried to get in your space, not because I tried to be this guy, but because of the respect that you saw, which is different. Because you do have people like pastors, you got people in all different spectrums that want to do something to make a name for themselves. That's in every walk of life. That's not a Christian thing. That's everything. And then you got and then you got people, and what I love about the Bible, then you got people that get gifted with the gift, but they don't carry themselves like they want to be that guy. That's me. I don't carry myself like that. That's why you can contact me and say, hey, Cap, what you doing? Let's do something. You know why you did that? Because you had a certain level of respect. He's a good guy. He's the one everybody talks like that. That's better to have than to have
I'll tell you precisely why I contacted you. I'll tell you precisely why I contacted you. We were going back. We had communicated in our DMs probably on a number of random things. And then you said, let's have another conversation. Let's have a debate.
That was a couple
weeks. I agreed. I said, yeah, we should do that.
Right.
We're both probably very busy people. I just had an impromptu conversation with another person who subscribes to a similar way of thinking. And then people said, get Tazaryach. Now, is there any doubt that you're a lot smarter than the last guy? Absolutely. That's why I brought you on. And that's why I like you, because you're not dumb. That's why I like you.
Appreciate it.
That's precisely why I reached out to you to have the conversation impromptu. But what I'm telling you is that I know for certain what human nature is, and everyone, they scream out for attention. Babies cry for it. Men die for it. And what I know for certain, especially with religion, because it operates in a very specific way in people's lives. When people come to Jesus, that's usually after they fell apart or they're recovering from addiction. When people want to become preachers, these are not the humble among us, though they may pretend to have humility. These are the people who want to be out in front. It's a fact. Furthermore, the people who preach, that's because they're not leaders in business. They're not great athletes, professional athletes right now. This is their thing. Just like a professional athlete is known by his basketball. This is a way for human beings to find significance. And what I'm saying is, it's one of the most despicable ways because you're propagating fairy tales and lies, which we all should know to be lies.
Right.
And so I bring you on because you're intelligent, but also to utilize you as a foil to expose the foolishness, which is detrimental and unproductive to the Black people.
5 minutes. Wait, before I speak, 5 minutes. You asked me to give you that warning. 5 minutes.
Oh, I appreciate you. I yield the floor.
No problem. What you're saying is not incorrect. It's just incorrect about me. And that's why you can't make what you're trying to say, you can't put that just in the religious world. That world that thought process applies to anything. You got Christians that are doing it to be seen, Muslims doing it to be seen, rappers, entertainers, Israelites. You have a lot of people that do this in a dishonest fashion. And they're usually the ones that can last for a time, and then usually they're easily wiped out. They're usually either gone away. What I thank the Most High for, and what I boast in the Most High for, is that I've been able to do this for 16 to 17 years and have never had a stain like that on my reputation. I've never had the stain of Cap is doing this to get fame, to get glory, to do this, to do that, to do that. I'm actually the opposite. So you can't put me in that class that you're putting everybody else. But everybody will see in this conversation, which on the playback, because people are telling me I'm being muted. And if we see that, that's all you need. I'm just telling you what's being said.
No one has muted you. No one has muted you.
Okay, no problem. And I guess we're
telling you you're being muted. Are you seeing that in the live chat?
Yeah.
So the live chat saying you've been muted?
Yeah. So
you may recall at the very beginning, I said that you were fading out and you said I was fading out. Perhaps it's a connectivity issue.
It could be just that simple.
I don't know why you would repeat that you're being muted when I already clarified that you're not being muted.
I would hope that you wouldn't be that crass to do that.
Yeah, but why would you repeat that when I already stated that you're not being muted?
Just like because I like stuff to be on the record. That's why.
My reputation is good the world around.
As well as mine.
Yes. And so if I told you one time that you're not being muted, there's only two of us on the call. Like if I mute you, I might as well remove you. It'd be a lecture at that point.
Got you. My reputation is so solid that I don't have a stain on my rep. That's what's more important to me. That's why I don't act thirsty. And that's why I get contacted, not just by you. I get contacted by a lot of people to do interviews, debates, XYZ like that. And so I want the emphasis and everybody to understand I don't have to chase anybody to do anything. I'm not in this for.
I never suggested that you chase me. I never suggested that.
I'm not saying that you did. I'm making a statement though. What I do this for is to wake my people up, to give them an identity, and I'm good at it. What I am good at is having a voice of reason that my people resonate with, and I hold that responsibility to the highest regard. So this is not a religion. This is a belief. So if you're not my people, it's not for you. I don't care what you do with it. If you are my people, I will probably go to great lengths to try to get across to you. Like my brother Marquett on here. I said your name correct, right? Marquett? Well, like my brother Marquett. He's a hard-headed, stubborn black man, as he would probably say I am. And one day he may say Kwam Yashala. One day he may let go of the false.
I would not describe you as hard-headed or stubborn. I would not. I describe you as prideful. But
now
before you go, because I know you gave me the 5-minute warning, you've been talking for about nearly 3 minutes. So I just want to state one thing that I want the audience to record.
Take 60 seconds, so because I do got to go at 7:30. Can we both take 60 seconds? Is that fair?
You were just speaking for 2 minutes, though.
Okay,
I'll yield the floor for your 60 seconds. I yield the floor. Go ahead. I yield the floor.
You take 2 minutes.
Please, I yield the floor to you. I just yield the floor. Go ahead.
Because I was just talking. But if
no,
you
go ahead. I yield the floor to you.
No, I just want to close out.
I yield the floor to you. I yield the floor to you.
I want to be the one to close out after you speak.
That's why I'm yielding the floor to you, though.
But do you have something to say, though?
Please, why play the game again? I just yielded the floor to you. I just made a note for everyone that the time was winding down, which means I'm time conscious. So I'm yielding the floor to you. If you'd be kind enough to utilize your 60 seconds, and then I will close out my show.
No problem. I appreciate Saint hitting me up, or Marquette hitting me up for this debate. I don't even want to call this a debate. It ended up just being almost a pointless back and forth. There probably are some good points that maybe somebody could take and walk away from. What I would suggest we do is maybe have a more formal conversation where there's not as many interruptions. I think interruptions on both sides kind of causes confusions. There's no straight linear way for the conversation to go. Maybe this does lead to a part 2. I think anybody can clearly see that being an Israelite is different than a religion, and we should not be Eurocentric. I do appreciate you bringing me on your platform And I look forward to, we do a part 2. I land.
Thank you. The important piece here is you said you spent 16 years essentially as a preacher. And what I want everyone to understand is the difference between you and I. The reason that you can spend 16 years or even 60 years as a preacher is because there's no deliverable. You just deliver words and messages. I'll pray for you. In my case, if I say I'm going to teach you business, I have to deliver the guap, the moolah. If I say that I'm going to teach you something that has a deliverable, you can assess if I failed or if I succeeded in doing what I said I was going to do. I haven't picked up a book that came from the Europeans in a European language. I've given you pure ism, and you can measure up my contribution in dollars. I've sent out over $600,000 to people just like you who are watching this right now. Most of you Black, many of you Latino. You can measure that up. So if I ever say I'm going to do something for you and it doesn't get delivered, you can say, okay, he didn't deliver, he failed. But if I'm a preacher, I can preach my whole life. And that's my point. Black people don't need preachers. We need leaders who actually deliver. And that is the line in the sand. No more of this Martin Luther King dreaming. No more of the preaching. I'll be happy to engage the conversation again on a pre-scheduled basis. I think maybe if we did like a minute 30, if we went back and forth with a minute 30 uninterrupted, what do you think?
Yeah, that sounds fair enough. I think at some point we do have to just talk to each other cleanly, but in some spaces you need to be afforded a certain time uninterrupted as well as I. So we got to kind of find a way to work that out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We have maybe 30, a minute 30 for a 30. Floor and then a 30-second for a rebuttal.
Yeah, that could be fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fantastic. I appreciate you coming on. And I appreciate your tough skin. I wish you well in your next engagement.
Thank you. Hey, don't forget about what you said. You said you had something in the beginning of the year. I didn't forget about it.
Absolutely, I do.
All right, no sweat. All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.